James B. Johnson, my name is. But I also go by the name of Stretch. Like, I often think my father, like when he would come into the house, everybody would be quiet. And my mother was an alcoholic. My father was an alcoholic, a rageaholic. You got to remember, there was 8 of us. And it's funny, if you know, you're getting, we weren't good kids. You're getting a beating, he would have us in a line. And you would actually try to be the first 1, 2, or 3, because by the time he got to the 4th and the 5th, he was in such a frenzy that, you know, you were getting beat. You know, he would explode quick. And at that time, I didn't know, he had a lot of things going on. Like, I never, like, we would stay home from school, and somebody would knock on the door, and they'd have a suit on. And they'd say, "Is your father home?" And no. And I never realized it was like a detective or what have you, you know? My father had a lot of books, a lot of them paper books, and I used to read them, and they were all gangster books. You know, I was amazed at the lifestyle that they had, like cars, clothes, etc. You know, I remember reading them, geez, I think I was about 10, 9 years old. And that's all I wanted to be, was a gangster. And I was amazed at the lifestyle. I didn't know that they lost their soul. When I was at a public school and we had to go to a Catholic school to get lessons for catechism. Well, me and the dude, we hit the poor box. Well, we were at the age where we went to the store across from the church, bought all candy, and we're in the church splitting up the candy when we got busted by the sisters. I thought it was normal. I go, you know, I didn't really care. I'm poor, that's for me. Somebody told me, "You had a bad childhood." And I go, "Listen, I didn't know if I had a good one or a bad one. I just knew I had one." And at that time, you know, like it was just life. You kept everything inside. You didn't share it. Nine, because my sister, my oldest sister, she would give me a list and she'd send me out to shoplift. You know, and I got caught and the cops brought me home. And they told her, but she didn't tell my father and mother, because I was getting the stuff for her. It was no big, I wasn't scared. 4 days after I turned 13, I got sent away. June 13th, 1964. And I did, I believe 18 months and 3 weeks. Like, I was already a criminal, but I was small. And there they fed you good, and I was around, first time, you know, around black people, Spanish people, Buffalo, Rochester, Syracuse, and it was a whole world that opened up to me. And then I found out that, you know, I had a lot of anger, I could fight. It was like my growing, you know, it's like almost like gladiator school. Did 5.5, did 2 when I was 17, did 1.5 years. I can remember when I was in Attica, I was 24, and I told myself, you know what? If you don't feel, you don't get hurt. My 2 brothers, like my one brother was doing burglaries. I go, come on, I'll show you how. I thought I was doing the right thing. But from going into prison back and forth, like they just rip you. Like, here, this is your family. I go to prison, lose my family, come out, start another relationship. I was a late bloomer, actually. I got out of prison, I was 19. I went home, you know, and everybody was doing smoking a lot of acid and stuff, and I loved it. I was drinking. Then I did speed. Then I did coke. And I'd hear about heroin, and I'd go, who the hell wants to get high to get sick? My wife, and she's pretty, my last one, she's pretty slick. Granted, you know, she knew, like, see, I was doing coke and all the other things, going to Atlantic City, and she wanted me to stay home, so she got me doing Dilatas. And then that way, I go, oh, I like this high. And then she goes, well, why don't you do heroin? I go, okay, let me try it. And then I go, oh, I like that. There comes a time in your life where the pain's so bad that nothing takes it away, and heroin did. It took everything away, everything. All the Christmases, all the birthdays, all the great times in your life, all the moments when you first shoot up, the first shot happens. As long as you're doing heroin, nothing bothers you. But guess what? It don't stay that way. And then it becomes a living hell. It's definitely the devil's drug, you know. It beats everything. It beats sex. You know, it beats your kids. You know, and you'll kill for it. It's my addiction got in. Like I would think of my son, and I would hurt. And then I would shoot up, and the hurt would go away. If life sucks, and then you can take something to forget it for that moment or not feel it, you're gonna do it. Like there's a different class of people that when you smoke weed do acid, and then when you do heroin. If you went and copped in this hallway, it'd be like maybe 15 people. There'd be a lady dressed to the T. There'd be a businessman, then there'd be a bum, then there'd be like a 14-year-old kid, and they're all copping, all the same. My wife didn't know I was home for 2 days. She was high, you know? And so I had to go to, you know, I'm an early riser. I get up like 3 o'clock. Well, I get up and I found out there was a morning meeting at 7 o'clock, his will group. So I went there, you know, and I had to get a piece of paper. So I had 13 years on parole to walk off. And I didn't think I'd walk it off. You know, let alone I didn't think AA would work for me. And I was 48 when I came into the program. And I went and I'd hear these people talk, and some were old and some were young, and there were girls, and some of the guys would say some things, and I'd think, how can you say that in front of a woman? You're afraid? What's wrong with you? And then I'd go, this ain't for me. This group ain't, you know, I didn't share. I just listened, and then, you know, I just kept coming back. And it's been my home group for 25 years. In the beginning, it's rough, but a lot of it is the people you're around. I'm cured of drinking and drugging, but I'll never be cured of alcoholism. That'll be with me to the day I die. That's why I go to meetings. That's why I talk to people. You know, you only get a daily reprieve, it tells you in the big book, on the condition of your spirituality. Do I think I'll relapse? No. Will I try to convince you? No. I don't, like I'm getting better and better. I don't want to debate about it. Like some people all they want to do is argue about something. Is that what you think? Okay, fine. And I used to be a big weed smoker. I mean, me and my brother would smoke a whole ounce, couldn't move off the couch. And I go, I don't need it no more, son. I go, you see this conversation? That's my high. I enjoy that. And that amazes me. I never thought that you know, it just was one day at a time. You know, being around people that were doing what they were doing. And then all of a sudden I understood the difference of, I'm not gonna listen to somebody talk about, you know, here, this sucks. AA ain't no good. You can't get ahead. I'm gonna listen to somebody that's did it, that's raising a family, that's working. And that was the change for me. All of a sudden I wanted to become what I considered a sucker or somebody that didn't, you know, a good person. Like, who wants to be a good person? All of a sudden I wanted to be. I say at meetings, I have certain sayings that I came in wanting to be John Gotti. Now I want to be Gandhi. You know?